Hello everyone and welcome to another post-rotation video where I'm talking about some upcoming decks that we have in the post-rotation format for the Pokemon TCG, and today we will be talking about Roaring Moon. I've got to say, Roaring Moon is a deck that I actually really enjoy. I have played it to a couple of tournaments and it worked out pretty well for me. It's just one of those decks that goes fast, it hits hard, you pretty much want to take out, 2 prizers every single turn. It's a really fun deck, but we're losing a lot with this rotation. But as you can see with this top 4 deck from Vancouver Regional, we are losing a lot of cards like I mentioned with rotation. Most notably, we're losing Greninja. We're also losing, of course, Dark Patch, which, a lot of people think that's the way to make this deck work because it is. And then we're also, of course, losing Pokestop. Those are kind of the 3 big cards. On top of that, we're losing Luminion, which is a really solid card to kind of help you find Sadas or Boss's Orders. And then we're also losing Trekking Shoes, which is another big card that kind of just helps you get through your deck and find the cards that you need. It's one of those consistency cards that kind of helps you pull off a turn 1 knockout almost every single game. And that's kind of how you play Roaring Moon. You kind of usually want to go second and you kind of just want to aim to, get the turn 1 knockout and kind of get rolling from there. You kind of want to always be ahead of your opponent with prizes. So ideally you want to go second usually, and you want to knock out a 2 prizer and just kind of go 2, 2, and 2 for your knockouts. And as we kind of saw with the Vancouver Regionals, that's, a strategy that definitely works with this deck. That's kind of the main strategy you go for, and a lot of times it just allows you to win games pretty quickly. Now, as we can see right here, this is from today. This is a City League over in Japan, one of their tournaments. And we do see that a Roaring Moon player actually managed to win first place. The only Roaring Moon at this event, actually. I did see at another City League from today, there was another Roaring Moon deck that I was looking at. That one got 5th place, I believe, but this one here got 1st place, and it's a really interesting list. So in this video, I'm going to kind of talk about the breakdown of this deck, what the strategy is, or what I think the strategy is based off of what I'm seeing here, and then I'll show you guys some gameplay on how to play this deck. If you guys like this type of video, I'd appreciate it if you leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and also I did recently make a breakdown video of Feraligatr, so go check that out as well. But of course, let's go ahead and get into the deck. So looking at the deck here, there are some interesting counts of cards. There's some, Pokemon here where we're running less counts of them, others where we're running more counts of. Kind of makes sense. There are a couple things that I think I might want to test out differently, but of course, we're going to look at the winning deck here, test it out, and kind of see what we can do with it. To start off, we only have 2 Roaring Moon EXs. Without Hisuian Heavy Ball, it can be kind of scary to prize both of them possibly, but again, we do kind of have some other options to attack here, so that's not the worst idea. We'll kind of be okay with 2 Roaring Moon EX. It would be nice to kind of have a 3rd, but I can also understand why we get rid of one of those. Next up, we have 2 copies of the Baby Pecharunt here. I just call it that because it's not the EX version. This one, of course, we're mostly using it for its ability, which basically makes your opponent take 50 more damage from poison. So essentially, if they're poisoned, they're taking 60 damage every single turn, which can be very nice. We also do have that poison chain attack, which means we could use that to kind of lock our opponents and buy us some time if needed. And it only costs 2 energy, so it's honestly a viable solution to a lot of problems with some of your matchups and things like that. It can kind of just buy you some extra time if you need it. After that, of course, we have our 2 Brute Bonnets here, just one of those ways where we can poison our Pokemon. I was kind of curious because I've never seen this Pokemon attack, so I was wondering what its attack did. It hits for 120, which is not great, but because this is an ancient Pokemon, this can actually be very helpful, and I'll kind of explain as we go through this deck. But it is important to attach, energies to Brute Bonnet in some situations. We've of course got our Squawkabilly EX, which is something that currently, we use in Roaring Moon for its ability Squawk and Seize. Occasionally you'll use Motivate if you have actually nothing going for you. But Squawk and Seize, of course, allows you to discard your hand and then draw 6 cards on your first turn. We are running 2 copies, it looks like, which makes perfect sense. This is such an important card, especially to also get energies into your discard pile, which is what you kind of want. And if you kind of prize that, it will really, slow you down. It can honestly lose you games if you prize it. So having 2 copies just for that extra consistency, I think that's something we're going to see across a lot of decks when it comes to these 1-of cards. Just kind of having that 2nd copy just in case. Of course, we have 1 copy of our Baby Roaring Moon right here, just a strong attacker as the game goes on and you add more ancient cards to your discard pile. This is a good 1 prizer to kind of get a knockout and just leave a 1 prizer in the active spot. That way your opponent cannot take 2 prizes on you, so definitely a viable attacker. It's great against, certain cards that are weak to dark, like Gardevoir, for example. Just a really good attacker overall. We've got the 1-of Mew EX copy for its Restart ability, also a free retreat Pokemon, which I guess actually now that I'm saying that it doesn't even matter because of what else we have in our deck. I think we're mostly having it here for Restart, especially in situations, with Roaring Moon where You kind of get Iono down to a couple of cards. A lot of times it can kind of just leave you stuck. So just having that extra draw power is really nice. And I guess you technically do have genome hacking if you wanted to attack with it. We've got the Latias EX. Since we basically only run basic Pokemon, any of our basic Pokemon can just retreat for free. We've also got the Fezandipiti EX, of course, to have extra draw power whenever your Pokemon get knocked out. And we, of course, have our Pecharunt EX. Now, this is a Pokemon that can attack late game. It can actually be really good. It'll do 60 damage for every prize card that your opponent has taken. But we primarily use this kind of against these wall, control style of decks, especially like Water Ogerpon, which can lock you into place. Latias's, ability will not work in those situations because you're not allowed to retreat. But with Pecharunt, you can move something from your bench to your active. So essentially, you can kind of switch out your Pokemon even if you're locked into place. So typically with this deck, you want to use Latias in almost all situations. But if you know that your opponent is running a card that can kind of lock you into the active spot, then you'll want to run Pecharunt EX instead. And again, if you prize one, then you can use the other, and vice versa. Now, as far as the rest of the cards here, we do have 4 Carmine, just for that turn 1, being able to Squawk and Seize, being able to Carmine, kind of setting up that first turn knockout. It really helps with that consistency. Running 4 of those makes a lot of sense. 4 Professor Sada is the main tool to kind of just accelerate our energy and draw some extra cards. 2 Boss's Orders, pretty standard across most decks. 1 Iono, so that's just kind of for some hand disruption, more so like in the late game, I would assume. Then we got 4 Nest Ball, 4 Ultra Ball, 4 Earthen Vessel, just all consistency cards. Same with Pokégear, just being able to find those supporters. We got the 2 Night Stretchers, of course, to kind of get some stuff back from our discard pile. And the interesting one here, and this is one which I saw in the other list I looked at, where I kind of thought the same thing. They were running 3 copies. This one runs 2 copies, but I could really honestly consider running 3 copies, especially now that we don't have Dark Patch. And this kind of goes back to what I was saying about Brute Bonnet, and this kind of goes back to what I was saying with Brute Bonnet. So this is a really good option here, honestly. If you have a Professor Sada's, and let's say you only have 1 Roaring Moon in play, you could use Professor Sada's, attach an energy to Roaring Moon, and then attach the other energy to Brute Bonnet, and then you can use that energy switch to move it over to your Roaring Moon, attach for turn, and it's powered up in 1 turn. So yeah, obviously we're losing Dark Patch, which is a lot of extra consistency, but this here is a viable option as well. And so honestly, I could see myself running 3 just to have that extra consistency. We've also got the 1 of Pal Pad, makes a lot of sense. Get your Sadas back, get your Boss's Orders back. And this deck here runs Secret Box, which can be very good for what we have with the Pecharunt. So again, makes a lot of sense. Typically, Roaring Moon will run Prime Catcher, but with this new format, a lot of things are kind of slower. I can see why Secret Box makes a lot of sense, and especially with our stadiums, our tool cards, and all that stuff. We've got 4 Ancient Booster Capsules. This is good for 2 reasons. Number 1, you can attach it to Brute Bonnet, and that allows you to poison yourself and your opponent. And number 2, we can attach it to Roaring Moon EX to give it that extra HP, allowing you to survive some more hits, and also not really putting you in danger of getting knocked out from poison or anything. I know I personally always forget this, but this makes it to where you cannot be hit by special conditions. So not only does it protect you from poison, but you also get the 60 extra HP. And our last 2 cards here are the Perilous Jungle Stadium card, and of course 7 energy cards. And this stadium right here is really good for this deck. So this right here basically makes it to where your poison damage does 20 more damage each turn, and this does not affect dark type Pokemon. And since we're running pretty much all dark type Pokemon, that basically means it only hurts your opponent. Now keep in mind with Pecharunt here, we are doing 50 more damage in addition to the 10 damage that poison does. So we're doing 60 damage. With this stadium, we're actually doing 80 damage. And that makes this deck very interesting because in the past with this deck, you typically always want to go second, allowing you to get that turn 1 knockout. But now even if you go first, you have a viable option to just win the game outright. We've seen this a lot with Pecharunt. If your opponent is playing, Dragapult and all they have is 1 GP in play to start out the game, then you can just win turn 1. And on top of that, this is obviously a dark type deck, so again, that poison chain attack that locks Pokemon into play. Let's say you bring something up that's kind of useless, you can just lock it into play and just do 80 damage per turn with poison damage. And so that really kind of just changes the dynamic of this deck entirely. So obviously we do have that turbo ability, being able to attack fast and just get fast knockouts, but we also have this ability to kind of stall out if we need to, knock things out with poison, go for early poison kills. And I honestly think without this poison ability here, I think Roaring Moon, a lot of people are kind of just looking at this deck and saying, yeah, after rotation it just kind of goes away, but this might actually be a viable way to play the deck. I see the vision here. Like, I see this makes sense to me, you know what I mean? Like, and I'm really enjoying Pecharunt in a lot of decks I've been seeing with like Archaladon and other decks, but it makes a lot of sense in this deck. So I'll go ahead and post this list in the description below. I'll also have a link to the limited page, so if you want to check out some more decks, you can go ahead and do that. And since this uses no new cards from the new format, you can already go ahead and import this deck and test it out yourself. But all that being said, let's go ahead and jump into a game and see how it does. I'm kind of hoping that we run into something that's like relevant in the next set. I'm always scared I'm going to run into like Lugia or something. Something that's going away completely. Hopefully we've got one from the next set. Now this is interesting. I don't really know if you want to go first or second. I'm gonna say let's try to go first. I honestly think with how this build is, I think you almost want to go first because I feel like you can pretty quickly set up the poison turn 1, obviously. I feel like setting up the Roaring Moon turn 1 for knockouts is a little bit harder, obviously. Setting up the Pecharunt seems to be like a little bit easier, I feel like. Okay, right away, looks like we're going up against walls. This is going to be interesting here. Let's go ahead. Roaring Moon's actually going to be helpful in this because no ability, and it's also not an EX Pokemon. So we're going to work on getting some of these cards into our discard pile. Go ahead and grab some energies. I'll go ahead and attach an energy as well. We're going to put this jungle into play. Now in this situation, obviously I want the booster capsule on my Brute Bonnet, but since I'm discarding my hand, I might as well just attach it to Roaring Moon, make it a little bit tankier, and we're gonna go ahead and Squawk and Seize. We're not getting rid of too much actually. Okay, now we do have all the pieces except for the Ancient Booster, unfortunately, so I'm not gonna get that set up, but that's okay. I think I'm gonna grab the Mew actually, because my hand is kind of small, there's not much there. And so next turn I want to be able to draw some cards. So next turn I can at least get rid of an energy. I could use Boss just to kind of get rid of it, and then I should theoretically be able to draw at least one card. We'll see what happens. I'm guessing this right here is going to be not what okay, never mind, I don't know what this is. We've got Execute, okay, and Cornerstone Ogerpon. This is interesting. Not really sure what they're running here. I mean, they're cooking, I guess. Practice Studio, what does it even do? 10 more damage, okay. I have no idea what they're cooking up here. Whatever it is, it involves eggs. That's all we know. I thought this was a Walls deck. What is this? Ooh, we do get the Sada, okay. Guess I'll go ahead and use Sada. Okay. Man, I still can't even get what I want here, unfortunately. I prize Pecharunt and I also prize my Latias. That's fantastic. That's what I'm talking about. I feel like you're just gonna end up prizing a lot of things in this format, it feels like. Pokégear, that's not gonna help me right now. Alright, let's try doing some damage, I guess. Putting that pressure on. This is going to be interesting because I have no evolution Pokemon, so I feel like a Lowland Executor has got a 50-50 chance of knocking me out, basically. Well, okay, I guess they're going to knock me out here because they do 150, but Iono's actually going to help me a lot, thank you. Got some good cards here, Energy Switch. We got the Sada as well, and the Secret Box, so I could start attacking with Roaring Moon. Mimikyu, not worried about that. You do always have the Frenzied Gouging option on that, if I want to just knock myself out, basically. That's the option for that. Okay, they're running Mew EX as well. I think in this situation, if I can, I just want to knock out this Ogerpon without my EX Pokemon, and then start working on everything else. Not too scared of this Executor here, honestly. And they are running the Melodic. Yeah, I'm not really sure what the strat here is, not gonna lie. Okay, let's go ahead and start powering up this Roaring Moon. And then in this case, what do I want to do? Secret Box. Ready you, and you. Get our booster capsule, jungle. I guess I can get an Earthen Vessel already. I do have the Sada for turn. I could use Boss, possibly. Yeah, I could Boss up the Mew actually, knock that out. I think that's what I'm gonna do here. Just a quick, easy knockout. Might as well, right? Get rid of a jungle. Get some energy here. We only have one, but that's fine. Now we attach that. And then we are hitting for knockouts. I'm gonna keep my stadium in hand. I honestly don't really care about the stadium here, so I can just go ahead and knock it out. Take myself 2 prizes real quick. I'm honestly not too scared of him walling me out of anything, like, because he's not even playing the Farigiraf. Like, the Milotic is completely useless in this matchup. I'm not sure what they're doing. I have no Terra Pokemon at all, so we're kind of just chilling right now. If he wants to knock me out here, that's fine. I can knock him out with Roaring Moon EX. And this artwork is so nice. I really like the new one that came out, the new Roaring Moon. That card is going for crazy money though. But this one's cool. It's got, you know, Brute Bonnet in the background. That's pretty cool. We're going Crispin, it looks like. Milotic EX. This is a cool card too. Fun fact, I do actually have the Feebas, but like for the Feraligatr deck, I feel like that's not the optimal Feebas, so not sure that I'd be using it. Alright, they get the knockout. Look at them. Okay. I think I did kind of mess up. Oh, I do have Pecharunt EX. Did I get that off my prizes? Maybe I did. Okay, so let's actually bench Pecharunt here. I'm gonna start powering this thing up, which might be a mistake. We'll see. Okay. And then I guess I just knock it out here, honestly. Yeah, we'll go Frenzied Gouging here. Kinda wish I had another booster capsule, but it's fine. I guess I could just get rid of the stadium, honestly. It's only like benefiting them, so. I feel like it doesn't really matter. He's hitting for what, 160? Like 170? That doesn't really make a difference. I'm knocked out either way, so. This Mew card is another crazy card that's gone up in value. I can't believe, I always talk about this, but like, it's crazy. Some of the price on these cards, like, I remember when this card first came out, it was worth like nothing. Now it's like 35 bucks. Okay, honestly, I just win here with boss's orders, don't I? Well, okay, hold up. I need some pieces. What am I talking about? Let's go. Yeah, let's go Mew. Ooh, I have the energy switch. Okay. So in this case, I think both of my... I discarded both of them. Yeah, that was kind of a mistake. That was kind of a mistake. Okay, it's gonna take me a couple turns here. Is there anything I would want to bench here? I'm trying to think. No, right? Everything I would need is discarded. So yeah, there's nothing here for me. Okay. Question is, do I want the boss or the Sada? I mean, I guess I want the boss, right? How much am I hitting for? 60, 120, 180. Can't hit this guy. Oh, it's kind of tough, actually. Hold up. I think I kind of messed up here a little bit. Because I don't have any energies left in the deck. Okay. I kind of want to... I don't want to waste this, but I might have to. Well, I guess I can just poison. Yeah, that's fine. Poison here. I don't want to burn my energy switch just in case. I guess, well, actually, if I had one more energy, I could do this. If I had one more energy, I could boss this up and then just lock it into place, but I don't. That's the problem. So I guess in this situation, this kind of feels bad, but I guess I just basically pass, right? Just do 80 damage. Hope that he knocks out my Pecharunt. Not the EX version. If he knocks out the EX version, we might have some problems here. As long as he doesn't like Iono me or knock this guy out, then I think we just win here. Really not much else you can do in this situation. Because here they're kind of forced to retreat because they're taking 80 damage every turn. Tofu. Okay. Powering up the Executor. This is an interesting kind of deck. I don't know. This is basically like a Walls deck, but with Executor. I don't know how this works. I think I pretty much win here, as long as I don't get Ionoed. They can't even knock out my Pecharunt, now that I think about it. So yeah, as long as I don't get Ionoed, I should have just energy switched already. I didn't think about that. They're only hitting for 160, so there's really no threat of Pecharunt getting knocked out here. There's the switch. I do have the boss in hand. We should be chilling. Yeah. We win, GG's. As long as I did my math right. I hope I'm doing my math right here. Let's see. Bring you up. Go poison. Hit for 180. Poison damage. And we win. Look at that. Interesting deck. Okay. That was basically like a walls deck, but like with Executor. I haven't seen that before. So very interesting strategy there. Going first. Okay. Let's try to go for the poison Donk. Let's see what we can do here. How's it looking? Looking pretty decent, honestly, here. This is not... Okay, this is not bad. If they only have one Pokemon and his Mimikyu, this is doable. Hold up. Okay, let's see if we can get it. Can we get the turn 1 poison Donk is the question. We're gonna need some pieces here. Okay. Get rid of you, get rid of you. I mean, we're gonna need some pieces. I don't know if I can do it here, to be honest. We're gonna have to find out. Let me see here. So we have 2 of those. We did prize a Pecharunt, so let me go ahead and grab Pecharunt. And let me Squawk and Seize. I got the secret box. Hold up. I think we got it. I think we actually have it. I think I actually got it. If they don't even forfeit already. We just win here, don't we? Oh wait, hold up. I'm just grabbing random things. Hold up, I need the Nest Ball. I'm missing the Brute Bonnet here. Can't get too greedy with it. And this is what I was talking about, where I said that you know, I honestly almost feel like you want to go first now, because you can just win turn 1 like that. Like it's that fast. Like I feel like it's honestly just a viable option, you know, to just go first. More than likely you can get the poison Donk, especially with Secret Box. If you find that, you basically get it every time, and it kind of just allows you to get your board set up, you know. I feel like before with Roaring Moon, it was all about, you know, doing whatever it takes to get that turn 1 knockout. And now it's like, if you go first, you can get the poison knockout. You can kind of have your board set up, and after turn 1, you're already just getting knockouts, but you're putting that pressure on immediately with the poison. So I think, honestly, I like going first with this deck. I do so far. That's going to be it for this video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Of course, you got to see the poison Donk taking place in full effect. One of my favorite strategies. A lot of people hate it. I forgot what deck it was that I played back in the day. It was against like Iron Valiant. I just remember losing turn 1 and I was just so annoyed. So I'm pretty sure a lot of people feel the same way about Pecharunt. But honestly, this might be the way to play Roaring Moon moving forward. I really enjoyed this deck. I want to test it out some more and actually see if it's something viable moving forward. And it's already won a City League, so that makes me excited about it. Again, if you enjoyed the video, I would appreciate it if you sub to the channel and leave a like on the video. Again, if you want to check out the Feraligatr video I recently did, kind of the same layout here, going over the deck, talking about it, and showing some gameplay. And while you're down in the comments, let me know which deck you want to see next. If you all have a fantastic rest of your day, and I'll catch you all in the next one.